Good afternoon and welcome to our special coverage. For the past week, the nation has been concerned as a very public confrontation has played out between the army chief and the government. However, now the first signs are emerging of a possible ceasefire between both sides. In fact, AK Antony extended an olive branch, and now we are bringing you exclusive details of a new statement that has been released by the Army Chief General VK Singh. We will be taking you through the exclusive details of this statement. Remember, the story is breaking first on NDTV, and we believe that this statement could go a long way in bringing the two sides that have been pitched in the last week on opposite ends of the trenches closer and to a middle ground that the country has been waiting for. In fact, the very first thing that the Army Chief says in his new statement, and I'm just going to go through these details before we go across to my colleague Nitin Gokhale. The Army Chief, in his statement that you're hearing first on NDTV, says that for the past week he has watched as the media has projected this as a war, as a battle, as a confrontation between the chief and the government. But General VK Singh, in his 3-paragraph new statement, is saying the media is committing a big mistake by projecting this as a battle between the government and the army. In fact, the general then goes on to say, the army and by extension, the chief of the army staff are also part of the same government. Interestingly and significantly, the army chief is blaming the entire trouble of the recent few weeks onto what he calls rogue elements. While no names are taken in his new statement, which we are bringing you exclusive details on, the Army Chief says it is these rogue elements that are trying to create what he calls a schism between the defense minister and the chief. It's rogue elements that are trying to, in a sense, wedge a divide and a gap. That's what the Army Chief is saying, but not naming these rogue elements. At the same time, the Army Chief, General VK Singh, goes on to say, we need to guard against these rogue elements. There is no difference of the kind that has been reported in the media between me, my institution, and the defense minister. Very significantly, the Army Chief then responds to media reports and commentary in the media that has questioned why the Army Chief has chosen to raise the very serious allegation that a senior military officer basically offered him a bribe of 14 crore rupees. Why has he chosen to bring this up now? Is it related to the age row controversy? Is it because his critics of General Singh have been saying because he was angry, he wanted to get back at the government? The timing has been questioned, and General VK Singh responds to this criticism in his new statement. The Army Chief says the bribery issue has resurfaced now because the person in question came back to us in March 2012. He takes it on head on. He says, I have noticed in the media that the timing of my raising the bribery issue has been questioned, and I want to respond to that. And he says that he chose to bring this up now because the person in question, and once again, no names taken, Lieutenant General Tejinder Singh, to whom the allusion is clear, who has taken the Army Chief to court on this, is not named, but he clearly says that the bribery issue has revived now because the person in question resurfaced just in March. Now to the other big criticism. Why did the Army Chief not act against the man who offered him a bribe? Why were institutional corrections not made? Why did neither he nor the Defense Minister AK Antony act? The Army Chief responds to this in his new statement. He says, in fact, that he discussed the matter with the RM, that's the Raksha Mantri AK Antony, and after that, both sides did take institutional corrective steps. In fact, there's a very interesting phrase he uses. He says that institutional corrective steps were taken to keep what he calls a wary eye on the person in question. This is the bribe giver, allegedly. The Army Chief then addresses the issue of the leaking of his letter to the Prime Minister, which of course talks about the underpreparedness of the defense forces. He says, but does not again take any names, that there have been selective leaks over the past few months, and these selective leaks culminated in the leaking of his letter to the Prime Minister. The last paragraph is significant. The Army Chief ends with saying that we are all duty-bound to serve the country. We are all duty-bound to protect the integrity of the army, even if we sometimes have to look within. The Army Chief General VK Singh is talking about looking within. Is he talking about looking within the army, looking within his own conduct, looking within the government? He does not specify, but he does speak about the need for introspection. He says that we need to look within the confines of the system and the law and find a solution to everything that is institutionally a problem. And he ends with saying that while freedom of speech and expression is to be respected, he has been pained by the frivolous and uninformed comments that have been made on military matters. So extremely significant, breaking first on NDTV, a new statement, a 3-paragraph statement by the Army Chief, talking about how he does not want this issue to be projected as one between him versus the government. That's the media cliche that's been running on all the television shows' captions. He's questioning that. He's saying, I'm a part of the government as well, addressing many of the other issues that have been raised in the media in the last week as well. My colleague, Govt, is tracking this story, our strategic affairs and defense editor. Nitin, I know that you've had these the details of this new statement for the last half an hour or more. I want you to step back and look at the big picture. What are the highlights of this statement?
Well, Barkha, first thing is that he's reaching out and telling everybody that there is no difference between the army or the office of the Chief of the Army Staff and the minister or the ministry or the government. He's saying the army, and by extension, the Chief of the Army Staff is part of the government. So to project it as a battle between the embattled army chief and the government itself is wrong, is what he's trying to tell everybody, trying to tell them that please do not read so many things, so many issues that have come up in the past few months. That was the first thing. But more importantly, I think the second point that he makes, that there are rogue elements within, which means both within the army. I know that he's hinting at even the Ministry of Defense, as well as those who are now no longer part of the establishment, but were part of the establishment, who are trying to create this rift, is what is a clear hint that the Army Chief has given here in this statement. And he's reached out or sort of responded to what Mr. Anthony said yesterday in his longish press conference. Remember, he spoke for 1 hour, and not once did Mr. Anthony hit out or criticize the Army Chief. And that was the first sign of what you call a ceasefire between the two. But of course, the Army Chief is saying there was never a battle between him and the minister. The timing, now this is significant. The Army Chief saying that the timing of the bribery issue, and he speaking in an interview about the bribery issue which had happened nearly 18 months ago. Why was he bringing it up now? He was questioned on this. So he's explained in great detail that basically the officer and some of his colleagues who were trying to malign the Army Chief had been kept under watch after the Army Chief had walked up to Mr. Anthony, telling him that so-and-so officer had offered me a bribe of 14 crore rupees. After that, a watch was kept on that officer by the army. And early this month, when the allegations about the army snooping on the defense minister came up, then the army got down to its task, identified the culprits, realized that this is the same officer who was behind these leaks and these insinuations. And that's when the army decided on 5th of March, remember that press release that was given out was naming that rogue officer, as the Army Chief has called him, the rogue elements. Therefore, that he has clarified there. Similarly, the Army Chief has said that he wanted the institution, the institutional integrity. He has emphasized at least twice in the statement, saying it is more and more important to protect institutional integrity, both of the chief, the office of the Chief of the Army Staff, as well as the Defense Ministry and the office of the Defense Minister. I think that is a very significant statement, Barkha, that he is concerned about the damage done to the institution of the Chief of the Army Staff as well as the Defense Minister. I think that is a very important thing. And also, he has said that we are duty bound to serve the country and protect the integrity of the army. Everybody realizes that it was harming the army. We have been saying this for the past 1 week or so, that the entire controversy, unpalatable things that were being said was actually defeating the purpose of having an armed force which is the last bastion of national security. And therefore, he has said that we needed to protect the integrity of the army. And of course, he has also hinted that we needed to look within. Remember, his first statement on 1st of April 2010 was that he wants to set the internal health of the army right. and he continued to attempt to do that, and he still continues to say that in this statement, that we need to look within the confines of the system and go according to law against people who are rogues, who are not in keeping with the army traditions and the benchmarks that the army has. Barkha?
Do you have the NDTV Profit app? All the markets, all the news and your own homemade, ready-made portfolio available there for you.
We will right now answer what you should sell, what you should buy when markets are down.
Download at ndtvprofit.com/apps. Get the best app from the channel you trust.